Welcome back to Orange Nation, rolling along on this busy day. It's actually been kind of fun doing this today, reminiscing, telling the stories. Nobody's angry.
That's a change.
Yeah, I'm not yelling at people and telling them to shut up or they're dumb.
All right, well, let's continue with that theme with the stories and on looking back. As promised, we're pleased to be joined right now by Demetris. Nichols played for Jim Boeheim from 03 to 07. D-Nick, so sorry to keep you waiting, but we do appreciate you coming on. How are you today?
I'm doing well, man. I'm glad to be here. It's a good time to catch up and, see how you guys are doing, man.
So I guess let's start with when you learned of the news yesterday. We talked with Brandon Trish earlier. He's over in Dubai. The news broke when he was sleeping. What's your story? When did you find out Coach was done?
So I found out, well, honestly, I personally kind of had an idea of his past couple of, post-game interviews that he was getting close. Obviously, he didn't say it, like a normal coach would say it, but you could just tell that, the time was coming. It was just a matter of time and when he was going to say it. But I was on the phone with my wife, and she was on social media, and it popped up on her social media, and I was also talking to one of my mentors that taught me at Syracuse University, and she also said something like, "Oh, did you hear the news?" So I'm like, I have no idea what's going on, because at the same time I'm on my way to our basketball game because we had a game last night. So a lot of stuff is going on. So I found out on the phone with my wife, and then once I went on social media, I didn't know how true it was, because you know how sometimes social media can put things out there that may not be true. So once it was official, from you guys, I was able to be like, all right, it's true. So it's pretty cool, though.
D-Nick, maybe you could give us a story. How did you end up at Syracuse in your first interaction with Coach Boeheim?
Well, Mike Hopkins recruited me. It was out of me and this other guy named Keon Clark from out of Brooklyn. Troy Weaver was recruiting him. And we both came up for a game, and they were both looking at us. I think I was the first option. Keon Clark was the second option. And obviously I fell in love with the Dome. I fell in love with the people, the coaching staff, the players. And I automatically, committed, at the end of the day. And, my first interaction with Boeheim, he said, nothing's going to be easy. Everything's going to be earned. And I was used to that, like me starting to play basketball at a late age. I started playing basketball at 12 years old. So I had to kind of learn things faster than a normal guy, because I had to catch up with others. And, just from that day on, he told me things are not going to be easy, and I'm going to have to earn everything. And every word that he said was true, because, my journey, from being the last guy on the bench to leading the Big East and scoring by my senior year, everything was earned. And but I appreciate the tough love, the encouragement that he showed me.
Take us through that journey, because as you said, it was not like you walked in the door and everything was handed to you, and you're dropping 15 a night as a freshman. First 2 years here were a struggle for you, and I know, having gotten to know you over the years, I know that you were considering maybe going somewhere else because it was hard, and you didn't. Take us through that. Why did you stick it out at Syracuse? What was it about this place, this coach, this program that you just kept working hard until you were able to find success here?
Well, you know what? It's easy to always, it's easy to just say, I'm going to give up and go somewhere else. It's easy to do that. It's easy to point the finger at somebody else and say that it's your fault that I'm not playing well, or that you're not playing me. So instead of pointing the finger, I had some good people around me. Obviously, Mike Hopkins was a good influence. Doc Clinton at the time was a good influence. He comes around the team all the time. And also, obviously, Jim Boeheim at the time. At the end of the day, we all have to make a decision. And I couldn't look myself in the mirror knowing that I would have gave it up, not giving a hard effort, or at least trying to say, you know what, at least I can look myself in the mirror and say, if it doesn't work out, I know I tried my best. And I always better myself. And I just wanted to take that chance. But, you're playing for a Hall of Fame coach, that had so much success, that knows what he's talking about, that has seen all different type of players. And I think for me, I had to figure out, what does this guy want me to do? And once I figured that out, I had to make sure that I did that to the best of my ability. And that was to rebound in the zone and make open shots. Don't turn over the ball. And those are some of the things that I worked on, not in the game, but in practice. So my practice habits translated to the game. And then once that happened, everything became a little bit easier for me.
With Adrian Autry coming in, you got to work with the coaching staff. What do you think of that hire, and what is he like as a coach?
I mean, I think it is a great choice. I'm excited for him. I think he deserves it. I think he's a great coach. He's one of the best recruiters in the country. I think Syracuse could have made a better choice. I'm excited to see what he brings, his philosophy, his understanding to the game, and I'm very, very happy that Syracuse University decided to keep it in the family. So, but I'm excited that he is, that he has passed the torch, and he's able to bring something new, bring something that the city is desperately wanting.
We've heard about these two sides of Jim Boeheim, right? And you experience the side as a player where he's hard on you, he pushes you. Those of us in the media, we've experienced. Jim Boeheim can be tough on the media sometimes as well. But there is that other side to him, right? And Matt Park was talking about Gene Waldron last night about Gene said I was at a time in my life I needed something and Coach was there for me. Can you speak to that other side, Demetris, that maybe we don't see? We're not privy to seeing on a regular basis, that other side of Jim Boeheim, that he would do anything for his players.
Jim Boeheim has the biggest heart, or one of the biggest hearts that I've ever been around. He has helped me tremendously on and off the basketball court. I think we talk way more now that I'm not a player, now that I'm a grown man with kids and family. We talk a lot more now, but he's just been an inspiration. He's been he's always been, a shoulder that you could, a person you can talk to for advice, because he's seen it all. Like I always think about, he always tells me, oh, well, you should have went overseas earlier. You would have been a millionaire by now. And I think about that all the time. Now that I'm older, I realize, you know what? Maybe I should have went overseas first thing out of college. Maybe I would have had about $10 million in the bank right now. But he's always been welcoming for me and my family. My daughter always talks about him all the time, and whenever we're at the house, he always plays with my daughter. He has one of the biggest hearts, and some people don't really understand that, because all they see is those 2 hours that he's on the court coaching, or the post-game interviews. That's only 10, 15 minutes where, tensions are high, and he has to be able to control his emotions while the media could be asking him certain questions that he may or may not want to answer, and he has to be able to control that. So, but for the most part, for me personally, and everybody has their own opinion about Coach Boeheim, but and I always say this, is that he's helped me with the job that I have now. When I was a basketball player and when I played overseas, I knew going into the season, I have to play well. I have to do well. I can't let nobody take my spot, because in the back of my mind, I hear his voice. You got to come to work every single day, and you always have something to prove. And that's how I live my life now. And I don't know where I would be if I didn't have that mentality instilled in me at a young age.
Wow, very well said. We appreciate you coming on. I know your time is precious. Thanks for finding some time for us. Great catching up with you, Demetris. Be well, and we'll talk soon. All the best to your family.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Go Cuse.
All right, the great Demetris Nichols. And with that, we'll hit a timeout. 315-437-7644. Back after this on ESPN Radio.